wanted to put together a cool presentation. I was asked to speak to kind of story and strategy related to telling your child's story, as well as what we've done for the strategy aspect and reaching audience, and then creative events and kind of piggybacking on what we just heard for our talk here, related to having your own unique event and making that successful. We'll be talking about commitment, taking us on your journey, social media best practices, the power of your smartphone, fundraisers, and the resources and Q&A that we put together for this too. This is Liz. All right. This is more of a Simon Sinek. I don't know if you follow him, but he has the book Start With Why or Find Your Why. And I just like that in the sense of how you start out with why do we do what we do? And that was my main question for the Humes as well, is what's your why? Like, why did you start this? And I think that's so important when you're telling your own story, is to start with, ultimately it's your child, but it's more than just your child. It's bigger than just your child. It's the next undiagnosed kid, the kid who's currently undiagnosed, all of us in this room and our friends and family and network, and kind of why we do what we do to get to that, ultimately to the cure, and fundraising awareness gets us there. I think what's really important about social media, it's not about creating content as much as it is taking someone on your journey. So I have lots of extra gear. I just love production equipment and, kind of telling our story that way, but you don't need that. You can really start with just your phone. But it really starts with kind of documenting your life of a family living with juvenile myositis and kind of bringing someone into your world. So I live stream from the IVIG infusions. I do fun kind of polling questions with our kids on Instagram, and have worm trivia and jokes and other silly things to kind of engage the community. But ultimately, it's just we try to be a fun-loving family that brings everyone in and kind of tells our story. And on this slide, it's basically tying in just the time is now in the sense of social media being as big as it is, the ability to kind of have your voice amplified across, whether that's LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Google+, whatever your favorite social media is, using that tool effectively to kind of help tell your story there. A little bit of best practices related to social media. Focus on what you're already passionate about, what you're already connected to, and share those micro moments. So for us, this would be, we went to Boston Pride, and by tagging Boston Pride's account, by using the hashtags that are already being used by that community that's out there in Boston, that got shared to their group. So that's an extra 10,000 people that we probably would not have reached on our own. Tagging influencers and businesses that you think would be open to your message. So basically, follow the business accounts you want to connect with, and then tag those accounts, and then also use the individuals that are behind those accounts, and then tag those as well too. I can teach anyone that. It's relatively simple, but it's just basically attaching their business so that way they can either reshare it or they're just alerted to what you're doing as well. Incorporating hashtags, that's basically the £, and that's, you follow those if it's an event you're going to, or if it's things, we use the CureJM hashtag regularly as a community, but there's also ones that, maybe autoimmune or IVIG that are being followed as well too. And then when you go to events, I think it's important to introduce yourself to the organizers. So that way maybe the next year you could exhibit there, or you can just kind of get to know and build a network around that. And then just sharing your story, regularly. I think we talk about it, all day, every day, and the more that you share, the more that people open up to you. Speaking just a little bit about your phone and just the idea, I definitely am someone that subscribes to documenting fearlessly but sharing selectively. So I have a Dropbox account, and I just basically aggregate all the content there, whether that's pictures or the same thing, videos or whatever it might be, screenshots. And then I'll spend a little bit of the time of how do you actually get that out in the right way across the different social media channels. And sometimes it's just, you just post something because it's just fun. But sometimes it's more of a strategy of leading up to an event too. Being able to use your phone for notes and goal setting and brainstorms. I mean, some of our best work that we've done started with just sitting in the hospital for the first 5 days when he was first diagnosed, and being up at 3 a.m. and just going, geez, how can we help? How can we fight back? And really that started with just a little note that we shared, and we basically just banged out a brainstorm while she's sleeping, for 10 minutes, and then I'm awake with Liam at 3 a.m, and we just wrote up a whole, kind of punch list of what we want to do and how we want to help, help out. So we still go back to that. So I think, you always have it with you and go for it. We know this already, but it's a smartphone. It's photos, videos, interviews, moments. You can grab so many different things just with that. It's the Bold Acure JM. It started from a relationship I already had with a client, Kings. Kings actually has locations around the country. There's a few in Chicago. I'm sure they'd be happy to tap into local markets if we wanted to kind of scale this, and I'll show you the formula. But the idea is just to create a family fun event and make it as big and crazy and engaging as possible. And that helps to attach media to it. It helps to pre-promote, to drive to one singular event. And also for us, it is a disease that it's difficult to be outside in the summer. It's a disease that, you may or may not be able to walk. We don't know other children's conditions, but everyone's welcome to come to ours. It's going to be August 11th. All JM families are free to come. Their friends, their network is free to come. As we talked about in the session, we actually did more ticket sales as gifting tickets. So we have that as an option on Eventbrite where it says gift a family of tickets for $150 or $125. And that raised more funding than just straight ticket sales, because people want to know that it went to a nice, deserving family. And so we were able to do that. We had some voicing, Big Brother, Big Sister, but there's different things we kind of just gave extra tickets to. So. And then we had our own little display there with kind of telling our story and the journey there. So some of the little takeaways from that is I'm big on mind mapping. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of that before, but basically, you kind of just have, the way my mind works is like how is almost like if you were a painter, you kind of see it all laid out of what you want to create, then you create it. That's how my mind works for events and marketing and media strategy. So I think it's, what is your ultimate end goal of this event? Like if you could have it be the best thing ever, what is that? And then kind of think about it for a while. Then once you have it there, either through writing notes in the brainstorm or just video recording yourself, lay it all out, and then you put together your action plan from there. As opposed to just incrementally adding, I think it's better to kind of have the end result in mind and then build based on that. Accepting help, Liz just spoke to that. And creating your marketing collateral ahead of time, your press release, promotional timeline, and then sponsorship, and then ultimately trying to make it as fun as possible because it's exhausting. So
I think doing it at a venue makes a difference too, because I am part of other nonprofits in the logistics part of like bringing all the tents and bringing the DJ equipment, which we honestly all own. Well, Luke owns.
Yeah.
But they have wait staff. They have everything. I don't have to worry about licenses and vendor. Like it's just all at the bowling event at King's. There is a hard cost, but we've secured enough sponsors already to cover it. We just need to get ticket sales at this point and merchandise ordered. Yeah. It'll be fine. We'll be good. We'll make more than last year. But yeah, I'm a fan of being at the venue.
There's a website that I came across through a friend. It's called noam.com. I like it a lot because you can basically, in one place, you can enter your brand, if that's going to be let's call it the Dance to Cure JM, all right? And then you're going to check that, and it's going to automatically check that against all your social media sites and the URLs and tell you what's available, so that way you're not piecemealing together the different accounts and having different brands because you're like, oh man, now I need Twitter. Oh, but it's already taken. So if you can get that brand down from the beginning, and then what you do is you create a new Gmail address and you reserve them all. So you reserve every single one of these real quick. It's free, and you buy the URL, and then that way you can kind of use it all together to have it built. LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, they're all just classes that I've taken or plan on taking that are really cool for learning how to do it all.